Welcome to the club, cause you're that kind of nerd.
What up? Welcome to the club. This is That Kind of Nerd. It's a show where we talk about the nerdy things that we're passionate about and judge each other on what we bring to the table. I'm your host this week, Josh Burns, and I'm joined by Brian Thornton and CJ Mellon. Say hi, guys.
Does anybody have a refreshing seltzer?
I don't like CJ trying to take my thing. My thing is to not actually say hello. So now I feel like I have to say hello to offset the fact that you took my thing. Hello, Josh. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you. Since relaunching the best nerdy podcast on planet Earth, we have a new show format. At the end of each topic, and sometimes throughout, I'll be judging the conversation and awarding points to my co-hosts. The winner at the end of the show, that's the person with the most points, will be the host next week. So this is a kind of a round robin type deal where the person with the most passion about their topic can launch into it. If you guys have something, we can go. I have something I'm angry about, and we can do that as well.
I like to hear things that Josh is angry about.
Me too.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm angry about.
Actually, hold on. Before we do that, can we just acknowledge also that this is canonically our 300th episode?
Can we also acknowledge that on episode 299.5, some really ridiculous opinions happening here. CJ is wrong about HBO Max. The UI is not perfect, but it's fine, and it's much better than a ton of other things. It's actually better than almost anything but Disney Plus.
That's garbage.
That is
I disagree.
False.
You don't know how to to use it.
That is categorically false.
User error. User error.
Did I just get told you're holding it wrong? Did that just happen?
Yes. I also think we don't need more Harry Potter. Let it die for a little bit before trying to reboot anything. And what else did you guys get categorically wrong while I was gone? Hang on, I got to look up the show notes just so I know.
We talked sports.
Oh, yeah.
We had a great discussion about
here's
sports.
my thing. I actually have thoughts about sports for a second. You primarily talked about baseball.
Yeah.
I'm okay with baseball. I'm not I'm not going to be following every game anytime soon.
The fans aren't, for the most part, jerks.
True, but here's my main thing about baseball. I have been to live action games at Citizens Bank stadiums and
park,
whatever you want to call it.
You say live action?
I've been there. Live action games, yes. IRL. Here's the thing about baseball that bothers me. On TV, I could totally get into it. I see why people like it, right? I get it. In the park, I don't know what the hell's going on because I can't see the fucking ball. The ball is so fucking tiny.
That is ridiculous.
It's not.
So baseball and hockey live are amazing.
Hockey, I have been to a Flyers game and I loved it. Hockey is the one sport that was like, if I were ever to dive into sports, I'd start with hockey.
Football live is ridiculous stupid because you are so far away from the action. Anywhere, like unless you're on the sideline at the 50-yard line, at some point there will be minutes and minutes on end where you have you have to watch the Jumbotron. You might as well be at home.
Agreed. That's how I feel about baseball, though, too. That's how I feel about baseball. Absolutely. No, Every single baseball game I've gone to, I don't know what's happening. I can't follow the action because I don't know where the fucking ball is.
Even in the nosebleeds, right? And this is timely conversation because my hetero life mate and I are taking our sons to a Yankees game this Wednesday.
Oh, good for you.
I go to Christian just a couple weeks ago. I'm like, hey, May 10th, no school. He's like, what day of the week is that? I'm like, Wednesday. He's like, what do you mean no school? I'm like, we're going to the Yankees game. It's at noon. He's like, oh, fair enough. And I find that to be a valid reason to take a kid out of school. But
I've told the story that my father took me out of school to go see a Star Trek movie, right? I've told that story here.
This makes total sense.
Absolutely.
So I got $37 and we're way up in the upper deck. But from up there and in Yankee Stadium, you still will hear the roll call. You still will see you're going to see everything you want to see. Are they going to be smaller? Yeah. But baseball live is an amazing sport. Football, not so much.
Yeah.
Listen, this is just my experience. Maybe I went to the wrong games. I don't know, but I've been to a Phillies game, and that was my experience.
Go to a Phillies Mets game at Citizens Bank Park. Sit anywhere.
That's true. I went to a Citizens Bank Park game, and I was in the far right-hand corner, right field, in the middle of nowhere. Still had a blast. Yep.
Take the somewhat short drive to Camden Yards in Baltimore. It's on the Inner Harbor. It'd be a great little family outing for the three of you. You can get same day, and I this is it's a few years old at this point, this experience, but I sat behind the catcher in the second row. I was on TV the entire game, and it cost $30. And nice. I walked up
because Camden
Yards in Baltimore. I got the tickets while I was eating lunch that day because I was going to be in town. Washington Nationals Park, same idea, right? These are ballparks that you can get to very, very easily, and they are all amazing parks. Citizens Bank Park is a fantastic park, but it's just a pain in the ass to get to.
Yeah, and how. Anyway, this is too much sports talk for my blood. I just figured I'd comment very briefly on last
Fair
episode.
Enough. On to
continue.
Josh is pissed off about.
Wrexham got promoted, by the way. In between the last episode and this episode, Wrexham got promoted. So,
everybody hopefully by now has seen the TikTok or whatever social media of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney freaking out. Everybody freaking out.
So good.
Pretty great. Yeah, pretty good stuff. All right, I'm kicking off with things that Josh is pissed off about, and really, it's just one thing, and it is kind of par for the course because MovieWeb.com has a list.
No, they didn't consult you, did they?
They did not.
Oh God,
they did not. The list is 10 great spy thrillers about the CIA. Now, I think language is important, and I think they got the language wrong here. This list is about it's movies with CIA involvement.
Right. Okay.
Now, at face value, I'm thinking, oh, this is like one of my absolute favorite genre of movies, spy movies.
Right.
Great. I'm going to go through this list of 10 movies. You will note a few things. One, the order is ridiculous. Even for the 10 that they've selected, the order is dumb. And then I have a list of an additional 13 movies that are such glaring misses.
Right. Okay.
Okay. We have at number 10, 3 Days of the Condor, Robert Redford. Fantastic. Number 9, The Hunt for Red October. Here's where I'm like, okay, not so much about CIA, but CIA involvement.
Jack Ryan's in the CIA. Or Jack Ryan. Sorry, Jack Ryan.
Okay. Number 8, Mission Impossible. Okay. Again, great movie. Not about the CIA. They break into CIA headquarters in Langley.
It's CIA adjacent, aren't they? A splinter group of the CIA.
I'll allow it, but nah.
Right?
You're blurring the lines.
Blurring the lines. Absolutely. Your list is kind of fucked, and we're at number 8. The Good Shepherd. Okay. About the CIA.
There's a mole.
Good movie.
Yep.
I'm reading this at 7 and going, this is probably pretty bad placement. Number 6, Spy Game. I love this movie. You got Robert Redford, and then
wait. You haven't seen Spy Game?
I haven't,
which is ridiculous. Listen, you have Robert Redford and the man who is the future Robert Redford, the current Robert Redford, who is Brad Pitt.
That's a solid. Yep. Okay, that sounds good.
Right,
I'll put it on the list.
Number 5, Atomic Blonde. Okay, not really, but okay. Number 4.
No, not really. She's MI6, isn't she?
Well, you just spoiled the movie for everyone.
If you haven't seen Atomic Blonde by now,
she's not. She's CIA. She's a triple agent.
She's a triple agent. She's MI6 pretending to be a defector.
No, she's CIA pretending to be MI6 pretending to be
a defector. I got the order wrong.
Right. Number 4, Sicario. Right, Josh Brolin. I get it. Fine. Again, but we're adjacent because it's more about FBI involvement and task force. Right. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Why is this number 3? No. Number 2, Goldfinger. Well, very clearly that's a James Bond film. Okay, I get it. He's asked to spy on. He's asked by the CIA to spy on someone. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, and for this list, this is the only movie that makes sense here, is Zero Dark 30. Okay? Now, this list makes total sense to me in no way. Okay? So I'm going to give you 13 movies from my perspective that almost every one of them is a better fit for the list.
Right.
And most of these would usurp most of the movies on this list. On this list, the only movies that I'm like, yep, I agree that it's here and it's good. And it's like, I said The Good Shepherd, I said Spy Game. I'm fine with Mission Impossible because there's a lot of CIA involvement. I'm fine with Sicario. I'm obviously Zero Dark 30, but like pretty much most of the rest of the list, I'm like, no. Now, completely to me, the most obvious and ridiculous snub is Argo. What are you doing making a list that says movies about thrillers about the CIA and not including Argo? You are an idiot. You are an idiot who should not be writing articles about movies. Going down the list very quickly. 13 Hours, The Losers, A-Team, The Gray Man. If you haven't seen The Gray Man, I must have watched this 10 times.
I think I've seen it.
Ryan Gosling.
It's the Russo brothers' newest Netflix endeavor with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans and Ana de Armas.
I heard mixed reviews.
The Losers, A-Team, The Gray Man. Hannah. And I'm talking about the Saoirse Ronan, Eric Bana, Cate Blanchett, Hannah. Safe House. Who doesn't love Denzel and Ryan Reynolds? Salt. Bridge of Spies. Great movie. I've come to the conclusion that I do like Tom Hanks movies that aren't very Tom Hanksy roles, where he's not like an aw shucks fucking idiot. I kind of like him. American Made. How do you miss that? Syriana, Body of Lies, and The Report. The Report, not the most, like, it's not the greatest movie, but it's a good movie, and it certainly is more about CIA than, say, Hunt for Red October. What are you doing when you make these lists? And you'll notice that on my list, I did not include any of the British or German or other spy movies. If there was no CIA involvement, I left it off my list. And even movies that do have some CIA involvement where I thought it was tangential at best, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to include it on my list. Now mine's 13. You add Spy Game and a couple others, it could be 15. But not having Argo,
right,
or 13 Hours, just those two. You could replace any two movies on this list with those two, and it would be a better list.
I'm sorry, I was looking up some stuff. I want to make sure that we're in agreement here. I know you mentioned 13. I'm sure you had more. What about Breach? What about The Recruit?
Yeah.
Did you say either of those?
I didn't because I didn't mention those, right? Because Breach and The Recruit are both pretty shit.
I love those movies. I love in like I remember the first time I saw it and there was all this hype and then I was let down by it. Like Breach, Ryan Phillippe, come on. And then The Recruit was really bad. I disagree. I think
really,
The Recruit
really bad.
was really well done.
Really bad. Really bad. But yeah, I left those off on purpose.
Okay, all right. Well, we have a disagreement there because I listen. It's been a while since I've seen
you're
Breach.
100% right. Those are more CIA.
They're definitely more
some
CIA.
of the other ones, right?
Definitely. I also find them to be good, so we disagree there.
I left off The Equalizer too.
I don't consider Equalizer to be a CIA film. He's not CIA at that.
But his best friend is.
Sure, but his best friend isn't doing the shit.
She is. She's helping him.
Okay.
She's helping him. She's feeding him intel.
Okay. That's just.
And the second movie is all about her.
By that same token, Taken is a CIA film because he uses his old contacts to track down his daughter and Taken.
That's how you get half the movies on this list where you're just like,
I didn't include them because I didn't feel they had enough involvement.
Right,
Okay.
but that's the same way that Goldfinger is because the CIA asked him to do it, therefore it's on this list, and it shouldn't be.
I feel like that's just as tangential as something like Goldfinger.
I'm gonna have to agree with Brian on this one, and I hate doing that. Can't tell you.
Do you have others you'd like to add to the list? Because
What about
I'm with you.
Oh yeah, CIA is that FBI or CIA? It's been so long since I've seen this film. You're gonna have to correct me. Enemy of the State. Will Smith, Gene Hackman. Is that FBI or CIA that's tracking him down? I want to say it's FBI.
Yeah, I think Gene Hackman was a former CIA officer, so I'll give you that. And that's a miss on my part if that's the case.
Is he CIA?
The Saint, Val Kilmer, and that's Elizabeth Shue, right?
Yes, it is, if I recall correctly. Wow, it's been so long since I've watched that film.
That's a good movie. The Saint's a good movie.
I agree.
The Saint is fun.
I don't know if he's CIA though. That's my problem. I don't know if he's CIA in The Saint.
NSA is Enemy of the State.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So that gets taken out then. I had to Google. What about any other Jack Ryan film? What about Clear and Present Danger?
Yeah,
or Patriot Games.
Patriot Games.
I like both of those better than Hunt for Red October, and he's actually CIA in them. Whereas in Hunt for Red October, it's very murky what he is.
I actually like the Chris Pine Jack Ryan movie.
I'm a fan of that too. What is that? Shadow
more than I like either of the Harrison Ford ones.
I'll disagree with you on that, but I do like that.
And then you have the Sum of All Fears, where Affleck is Jack Ryan. And
what about any of the Bourne films?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yes. But okay. Anyway, hold on. Whoa. That is
any of the Bourne films
about the CIA. That is about the CIA's programs, the CIA's tactics, the CIA's ethics. There is no more about the CIA.
There are 5 of them, and I would argue at least 3 of them deserve to be on that list.
Yep, and I probably that's a huge miss on my part.
Wow,
that's actually a really good point because I didn't even think of it. How did I not think of Jason Bourne? How did I not think of any of those movies?
Yeah, I found another list,
and they all belong on the list. They're all fantastic.
I know there's a lot of people who don't really care for Legacy or that latest one. I love the whole series. I think it's one of the most consistent series.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Honestly, the additions I would do are the additions I said. I would add the Recruit. I would debate you on Breach. I will most certainly add at least 2 of the original 3 Bourne films. I think Identity and Ultimatum are probably the pinnacle of that series.
I would take both The Breach and Recruit over The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Actually, what's sad? I wanted to see that movie so bad, and I've never seen it.
No, neither have I. Even though it was directed by Guy Ritchie, I have not seen it because it got the worst reviews ever.
I'm gonna throw a curveball. What about the original Spy Kids film? That's a fun film.
That is a fun film.
Most certainly is
although
CIA.
It is the worst acting I've ever seen in my entire life.
They're kids.
Of course.
And the adults in there are doing a kids movie.
Right. But they're fun films. They're very Robert Rodriguez. They're the most Robert Rodriguez you can get without heads exploding.
Antonio Banderas and Carlo Gugino phoning it in is not my idea of a good watch.
Listen, I'm not saying top 10. But I'm saying if we're going to branch out genres here, I would consider it. I would consider it.
Just on completely unrelated note, because you two have already fixed a majority of this list. Josh, I just secured you Josh the Movie List Guy on Instagram. So I'm just saying if you want to start your next project,
lists,
I got
top
you.
10 travels and stuff like that.
But again. Oh, do I need to make this Josh the List Guy? Like, do I? Anyway,
can you secure both?
Now I gotta look. Or the List Guy Josh, I think better. What do you think? Josh the List Guy or the List Guy Josh?
All iterations of Josh.
I'm not locking
lists.
down. I can't make the 27.
All iterations, CJ.
I prefer the List Guy Josh. But God, just be better. Be better at your job. Be better at life. Just be better in general. And that was my topic. Because the nice thing about being me is that you don't have to scroll Flipboard for long before you're very
until you're like 9 into these things and be like.
Well, I mean, but let's be real. I mean, every single time I see a list online for the broader topic here, right, Josh? Besides the fact that these people these are people who get paid to critically analyze and listen. You want to throw in some artsy fartsy shit from the 1940s or Artour focus features bullshit, fine, but at least make it about the topic. That I think for the past 3 lists that you have put in front of us, right? It's not so much about the fact that these movies suck in our opinions, because art is subjective, but
not valid.
It's not valid per your headline. They're not valid.
You set the criteria. We're just here.
You said about the CIA. You said about. We should define what about means.
Right, and you get paid to make that headline make sense with the list. Or, like, what's happening is, hey, I mean, I don't know how recent this article is, but let's say, like, hey, there's a new James Bond movie coming out. Go put together, editor, Josh, put together a list of the best James Bond movies. Or put together a list of the best spy movies. And that's going to be, I'm going to give you the headline, and then you need to write an article, a listicle, that fits that headline. So someone fucked up. Either the editor said, go make a list of spy films, and then the writer said, okay, and then the editor changed the headline, or the writer fucked up and didn't do a proper list based on the headline given, and then the editor said, okay, whatever. Like, what the hell is happening?
That, or the website is movieweb.com, which... Okay. The AI that wrote this article was not very good. ChatGPT did not pull the right list of things.
Yeah, you didn't give it the right
You didn't give it the right prompt.
You know what? You freaking brought it up. I'm doing it. All right. Hang on.
Okay, what does ChatGPT say for that? Josh, I did get Josh the list guy Josh on Instagram for you. I'll send you the login credentials.
So hang on, I'm loading in the Chat GPT right now because this is interesting because my topic actually has a little bit of something to do with this, and this will dovetail into my topic quite well. What is the title of the article again, Josh?
The title of the article is
10 Great Spy Thrillers About the CIA.
That's right. Yes, that's exactly right.
So, all I said to ChatGPT was, please list out the top 10 great spy thrillers about the CIA. Exact same freaking headline, right?
Okay, yep.
Number 1, The Bourne Identity.
Okay, good. All right.
Now, hang on. Now, I didn't give it the right parameters because it's listing books, I believe. Yeah. So, stop generating that. Can you list out the top 10 great spy thriller films of the CIA? Now, let's see what. Number 1, The Bourne Identity. Number 2, The Good Shepherd. Number 3, 3 Days of the Condor, 1975. Number 4, Argo. Josh, ChatGPT has got you. Number 5, Spy Game. Number 6, The Recruit. Number 7, Body of Lies, which is another one I was thinking about bringing up. Leonardo DiCaprio.
It's on my list.
Number 8, Clear and Present Danger. Number 9, The Manchurian Candidate.
Oh,
number 10,
good one.
Number 10, Zero Dark 30. ChatGPT did a better job writing this list.
Yeah.
As a writer for Movie Web, whatever the fuck your name of your, first off, you are a legitimate website. Like, let's be real. I'm sure there's advertisements on there. I'm sure there's some sort of revenue stream coming in there. It's not like us who decide, hey, one day we're going to pop up that kind of nerd website and try to write articles for it. We don't have any money coming in, right? That's all done on our dime. You are paid to put together a list. And your list doesn't even have anything to do with the topic. What would you say? About 60% of that list does not jive with the topic at hand. I just typed in the same headline into ChatGPT, got 10 better movies, some that were on that list and some that were on your list, Josh. A much better list. And now if I'm a writer, all I need to do is write a 3 to 5 sentence blurb on each one of these films, which ChatGPT probably could do for me as well. It actually did. I just didn't read them.
Was written by Trevor Morelli.
Trevor Morelli, do better.
Who I'm sure was at some point proud to write these lists. This is not one of your best, Trevor.
No, but that's what upsets me the most is that you're not even doing the fundamentals of the assignment. You misunderstood the assignment so bad.
Right. We've been talking about it for 10 minutes. I mean, seriously, I did not, whilst thinking this topic up, I wasn't researching. I made my list without the benefit of IMDb or whatever else.
Sure.
Like, if you're writing something, there are resources, and you look at those, and then you make your, write your thing. So, like, in 10 minutes or however long we've been talking about it, clearly we've refined this list several times over, but one would hope that Trevor spent more than 10 minutes on this thing. And if he did, well, we've got a problem. But that's that's where I'm at. CJ, thank you for the handle on Instagram. I think I will probably make a lot of enemies.
I love it.
Well, we just started one.
All right,
we
so-
certainly made one today.
So that is my topic. I'm going to say that for the Bourne Identity and the Bourne movies, and the fact that I never thought of those, Brian, I got to give you 5 points. CJ, you had valid points, but you were just kind of here for the ride. I'm giving you 1 point for being smiley and trying.
Pity
hard.
point. Yay. I said the saint. I said the saint. And then I bowed out. And I was on Instagram getting you handles. That was the last part.
I'll give you 2 points for the handle.
3 pity points. I'll take it. Well, Brian, you said it dovetailed into your topic, so go ahead and go for it.
We ended Josh's topic by me putting together a better list through ChatGPT.
Right.
And this segues into my topic a little bit because of something ridiculously stupid I'm hearing being said by movie studios right now. I don't know if y'all know, but there's a writer's strike happening again.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And this is the second time I remember the Writers Guild going on strike. The last time was in 2007 into 2008. And these idiots are saying, we'll just have AI write our scripts. We don't need writers. Listen, I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because you're never going to get the creativity out of AI that you can out of a real live human being. You're not going to get the personal experiences and things like that. That's not my topic, but it is revolving around the writer's strike, right? So, they're currently at the line, and the big question is, okay, how is this going to affect things that are in production, things that are going into production, things that were being written? And I was curious, okay, well, this is not the first time this has happened in my lifetime. The last time was in 2007. What effect did it have in 2007? So I found this article, and I found several articles about movies that were impacted, the worst movies that came out of, or movies that were ruined by the writer's strike. And they all pretty much agree on these films. And I'm curious, I'm going to read off the films here. You can stop me if you have anything to say about them, for good or for bad. I'm curious if we feel like the writer's strike actually ruined these films, or were these films doomed from the start, right? So the first one on the list is Quantum of Solace. The James Bond, Daniel Craig second outing, ruined by the writer's strike. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I know they were essentially given a mandate to, hey, if you're going to go on strike, you got to finish the script first. And they pretty much rushed a lot of that script. So here's the next one. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Oof. Which one was that?
That was the second one with the primes.
That was the one with the
racist one. What was the racist robot?
the old one with the guy with the cane, the Transformer.
Now,
with the
do it
cane.
from the start.
You think that was doomed from the start?
It was going to be bad no matter what.
I think so too. I don't think they had a script in them, and that was part of the problem. No, because
It's just Michael Bay blow things up, show Megan Fox's weird toe thumb, and Shia LaBeouf is in there. Carry on.
Quite honestly, let's be real. I don't think anybody expected the first Transformers to be as big as it was. So, go ahead.
Was this also the movie where Shia LaBeouf was injured, and it was also pushed back because he had like all the injuries wrong with his hand?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Because I know there's one Transformers movie where he's wearing like a cast like the entire thing. Anyway,
right.
That thing was due from the start. Just it was Transformers. It was Michael Bay. It was due from the start.
Yeah, I don't think they expected to ever get a sequel. And from what I understand, this was being filmed without a complete script, which a lot of things were during that time, right? But I agree. I think this was doomed for the start. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh fuck! I would say
was that doomed
tough.
from the start? Yeah, I know. There's a lot of good in that script. It's not a good movie.
Bad in that script too.
There's a lot of bad in that script as well, and how much of it is due to the writer's strike?
See, here's the problem: the story was garbage, and so were the visual effects. Right? They were really bad. So I'm confident, or I'm hopeful, I should say, that if the writers had been there, the story would have been better. However, I don't know if that would have changed the VFX work, and that dooms the movie. So I wouldn't say doomed from the start, but it could have been better.
I think based on what I've seen and read about this film, this movie was rushed the script was rushed, and the movie was rushed into production before the strike happened.
Yeah.
They were still filming pickups after the strike happened. So they had the ability to do rewrites with real actors. Or, I'm sorry, with real writers.
Wait, they were doing pickups after the strike was done?
Correct.
Oh, then this is all. Then that means that the writer strike definitely affected the movie.
The rumor was that they extended the shooting schedule to compensate for rewrites that were completed after the strike.
Right, meaning that whatever they had beforehand that wasn't finished because of the strike was shit. So it was killed.
Right.
Because
So
of the writer's strike.
I think the writer's strike really kind of screwed this one up. I think we had, I think we had an even bigger turd on our hand. And then we tried our best to save it in reshoots. And we all know how well that goes.
I'm thinking this. I'm thinking no writers are there to stop whatever the hell they did to Deadpool, right? It's because the studio just had it set. The studio's just like, well, we'll just do that, right? The studio the notes person is writing the script, right? Being a scab and writing, let's just cover the merc with a mouth with no mouth and give him laser eyes. That sounds like a studio exec note that because there was no writer to fix it was like, I guess we'll put it into production. So I say because of the writer's strike, that movie is screwed.
I think that it was going to be bad, probably either way, but the writer's strike definitely screwed it. Listen, I have a lot. There's a lot of bad, right? I was just talking about this with Christian. I was upset, and my exact words were, something you had said, which was like, prepare for mediocre content. And I said, you'll have to consult Brian because he has better examples of the titles than I do, but it was bad. There is one example, for me at least, where the writer's strike drastically improved, maybe saved a show.
Hold on. I'm going to send a text to Brian real quick to see if it's the same thing that I'm thinking of. So, Brian, I'm sending you a text message.
Okay. We haven't even begun to dive into the
I understand.
on TV.
Okay. I sent it to Brian. Go ahead, Josh.
Okay, Josh, what is it?
Hank Schrader was supposed to be killed at the end of season 1 of Breaking Bad. And listen,
Text me Breaking Bad.
Dancing like a Muppet.
Yes. I don't know. And look, I know there are probably many different avenues, but there is no way that show is anywhere near as good without, and not just because Dean Norris is good as Hank, but because of the way that the story goes.
Correct.
All the way to the end of season 4, right? And then even after that, you still have remnants of Hank's involvement, even after Walt is gone. So, like, drastically improved. Maybe saved.
There's that moment where throughout a lot of Breaking Bad, you're still rooting for Walter and kind of hoping he gets away with it, right?
Yep.
And then when Hank's fate is given out, you're just like, you have to be punished for it. You have to fail. You have to die. Like, you have to pay the price because of what just happened to your family, as well as what just happened to this guy, right? You have to die. And then you feel okay with it, which again, I think to your point, Josh, while there's different avenues, if that didn't happen and you didn't feel like Walter had to pay the price, he could have gotten away scot-free. You would have felt great about it. But yeah, no, I
right.
agree.
And but I think that to your point, CJ, I think that is the moment when Hank decided or realized that this was the end.
This is
that
it.
He had that he had to go.
Correct.
And he kind of just stopped. He just stopped trying to manipulate everything and everyone.
Yep.
And it was like I don't see how you write that series without Hank and without the writer's strike that wouldn't have happened.
No, I definitely agree on that one.
So I'm not finished Breaking. I'm not qualified to comment.
It's ridiculous.
That is, oh God.
Listen, I want to give it another shot. Breaking Bad.
It's blasphemy.
Listen, it's not. And Breaking Bad for me is a perfect, the ergo example of everybody hyping something up to me so much That
This has to stop. This behavior has to stop.
This is not behavior. This is not like repeated
Your
behavior.
This
is
behavior
the only
is yours.
time I have said like
no.
It's not. Listen, this is not the Hamilton effect. This is something about like
it's the exact same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
It's not. This is not a thing about the fans and the discourse ruining it for me. This is something that like this was super hyped up, and I don't think you would. Either of you would agree with me. I'm sorry. I don't know if either of you would agree with me, but I don't think that first season screams the greatest television show ever to be produced.
Yes,
I don't
it
think
does.
so.
Absolutely.
It does.
That and The Wire, I mean, like, it's neck and neck.
It's on par.
This is why I'm so afraid to watch The Wire, because you motherfuckers have hyped that show up to me so much.
It has been, what, 21 years?
It's been a lot of years.
Not about
The Wire
time
premiere?
frame.
Wait,
not about the
and
time
people
frame.
are still getting jobs because they were on The Wire.
Right. So why does everyone say, oh, The Wire's the best show of 20-some years?
There is no doubt in my mind that there's good acting in that show. Just like I will agree with you, Bryan Cranston is fantastic in Breaking Bad. I did not care for the show of what I saw of it. Not that I didn't care for it. It just was not this amazing second coming that I was promised.
Matter.
It does matter.
No,
you know what's funny is I sent
important.
CJ a text the other day that I think, and I gotta find it because I don't want to misquote myself.
Correct. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because I think this is important, and this is not, and you know what? It's not just me either. All right. So I said this would be lost on Brian because he finds some reason to hate on it, and.
Wait, what would be lost on me? What is that in reference to? Then
my recommendation,
a show recommendation
for a show, which I will not say to you because
no, I'd like to hear it.
Nope. And you know what's funny is that we were watching something like this is fucking awesome.
Maxwell.
And Laura's like, yeah, you guys should talk about it. Wait, never.
Oh, you all were like the Diplomat.
Brian will hate on it.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard good things. I haven't seen it yet.
You
the Diplomat.
haven't seen what?
The Diplomat.
The Diplomat, yes.
Okay, hang on.
But nobody else say any good things about the Diplomat.
Yeah, stop talking about it. I don't want Brian to say there's too much hype about it.
Brian. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter to me what people say about something. This is like the whole thing with we're going right back to like Batman versus Superman. I don't care what you think about it, and everybody shitting on it, everybody hyping, everybody. I need to form my own opinion, regardless of anything else going on in the ethos. I don't care. Like, no, you don't.
Wait, no, you don't. Hold on. Let's go to one thing that you and I definitely agree on, Brian, right? Is that you and I agree that movie critics, by and large, right, have their head up their ass for a majority of things where they do not get either what the audience is going to say to it or the fans are going to say to it, and all they say is, blah, 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 blah. But we look at a specific, we have found our movie people, right? We have found the critics that we trust and review that, hey, maybe I don't necessarily like the way that you review things, but you said if you like this kind of movie, you will like this movie. I will then go watch it. Josh and I are that for you. We don't steer you wrong.
I understand everything that you're saying. Expectations are a thing, though. And whether it's expectations because of people talking about it or expectations because of a movie trailer, we all agree Iron Man 3 is a disappointment because the trailers lied to us and hyped up a certain aspect. No. The expectations are a thing. And where I have a certain amount of divorce from my past feelings about a project and certain hype, and I try to go in as blank as possible and let the movie or the show do what it's supposed to be doing, there is certain expectations around certain things that I can't ignore. When I hear for 5 years straight, and the other thing about hype is it's different when you're in it. I was in the middle of Game of Thrones for the hype. So you ride that hype train and it feels real good. This is not my topic, by the way.
I know, it's my topic. Just put it in the chat. That is my topic.
Great. We're combining topics then, apparently, because I decided to take to say one
Josh's
mediocre thing. No, one mediocre thing about a show that y'all love, and now we're off in freaking bumblefuck land. Like
my topic right here.
The thing is,
sorry, I had it written down in job. which is what movies marketing hurt your enjoyment of it, which ones helped it. And then I had two movies ready to go to get the discussion going.
Perfect example of this. There are expectations, right?
Correct.
And even though I'm going into Breaking Bad, not thinking about all the nuances of things that have been told to me, the hype is real. The expectations were there. And when I watched it, it did not meet those expectations of the great. Now, I think this is one of those shows that once I watch it to completion, I will feel that way.
I think you'll feel
but because I'm watching it episode to episode, I wasn't seeing it. So I was like, I'm not really motivated to finish this. I got halfway through season 3 before I pulled the plug.
Oh my God.
Gave it a very good chance.
No.
And I was just like, I'm not motivated.
I don't know how you get midway through season 3 and just say, this isn't fantastic.
That's the thing. Everybody kept saying to me, season 3, this is when that show takes off.
Listen.
I wasn't
Here's
there.
what happens. Here's what happens. You...
Off the rails, this whole podcast. It's all 300. Classic us.
You come into something with a preconceived notion because of whatever has happened around it, right? And then you lie to yourself so that you can be smugly self-righteous in ignoring.
Tell me more about my character flaws, Josh.
Ignoring the greatness, right? Because somehow you're above it because you didn't buy into the hype.
This is different. This is different from Avatar. This is different from Hamilton. I'm not sitting here saying Breaking Bad sucks. I haven't finished it. I can't say
I think by stopping at season 3, you are saying Breaking Bad sucks.
You are saying that.
I'm just telling you my experience. I'm telling you my experience, and my experience was I was not motivated to finish that show. But I can't sit here and give you an opinion on it because I haven't finished it. I mean, honestly, and again, by the mere fact that I am still motivated to try and give it another shot, should tell you that I'm not ready to sit here and say this is garbage. This is not the Avatar syndrome. This is not the Hamilton debate we had two episodes ago. This is a very different animal of I wasn't seeing what everyone else saw. Now, a decade later, maybe if I go back, I might see it. But
guys, we started this podcast back in April 10th of 2015. And I think we are having the exact same argument with Brian about Breaking Bad from 2015. I think we just have it annually or cyclically. We have this.
That's very. I don't know. I don't know if Breaking Bad ever came up before. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, going back to the writer's strike, because listen, this isn't even an opinion I feel. This isn't an opinion I feel strongly about. You're not going to change my mind because I haven't said anything yet. I just said I didn't finish the show because I wasn't motivated to, and you guys are pissed off about it. I'm sorry. Moving back to the topic of the writer's strike, here's another movie.
Troglodyte.
G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra.
Doomed from the start.
I think that movie is.
I don't think it was doomed.
I don't think it was doomed. I think you ruined it with Channing Tatum. That's the only thing that's wrong with that film.
That would be doomed from the start, then, right? If you cast him from the beginning.
Yeah, if you're
that would be. No, the casting fucked it up. It was doomed from the start.
The script is
ruined
written.
it.
The script is written before casting happens.
Right.
I think the script is fun. I think the script understands, and we're talking about writer's strike, right? I think the script understands what G.I. Joe is. I think it understands that it's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be hokey. It's supposed to be the more you know. BS.
I think the only person in that movie that knew that was Brendan Fraser.
He's in that movie?
Yeah, he had 2 lines in the movie. He said "Go Joe" twice.
Oh, okay.
He's the only one. No, I'm not possible.
I get it.
Wait, he's in this. Where the hell is he?
I don't remember him being in it.
Stone.
He's Stone.
That's how badly I don't care for that movie. I don't even remember.
I just
the whale
remember
himself
Channing Tatum, and that's the thing. But that's the thing. You cast Channing Tatum as Duke, and you center the movie around him. That was your downfall. Not because Channing Tatum's awful. He's not. I just don't think he belonged in that film. Josh is rubbing his eyes real hard because he has some sort of man crush on Channing Tatum, or
no, I think he's just embarrassed by you.
Very possible. You will not be the first one. Talk to my wife sometime.
The first time I've gotten some zingers in. I feel good about this. I'm glad this is recorded.
My God. Brian, minus 2 points for the self-deception.
Terminator Salvation.
Terminator Salvation? Writer strike.
I think the writer strike hurt that film. I think the concept is great. I think the casting's on point. I think this is a good idea.
Actually, you know what I think may have hurt that film? Was the Lee Christian Bale audio. I think that may have hurt because I like that movie. I do like that movie.
I listen, as a concept, I like that film.
Hold on. Mick
in
G,
execution, I'm not so sure.
Mick G did it, and I know we all have love for Mick G with his ties to Chuck, but
Mick G did it. I think. I listen.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna take off my snobby. I love that movie, and I think that gets a bad rap. So I think that movie was fine.
I don't think for a second it's as bad as people think it was.
It was actually a really good movie.
I think the popular opinion around that film is very harsh, for no reason, really. But to the point where they felt that they felt the need to reboot, essentially. Try to reboot Terminator with Terminator Genesis.
Whoa, we're talking about Doom from the start.
Because of how bad, quote unquote, this film was. I don't think it was that bad. Okay, hang on one second. Maxwell, get this out of your mouth and stop flossing your tooth with it. Last film on this list is Star Trek 09. J.J. Abrams, Chris Pine. Apparently was affected by the writer's strike.
How?
What?
That's a great question. Let me read the blurb here.
2009? That would have been in post-production and visual effects by then, right?
So the script was, the director found himself in a curious position while shooting. He and writer Damon Lindelof would think up of funny alternate lines while filming, but as both men who were members of the Writers Guild, they were unable to shoot the extra takes. So it's not so much that the script itself was ruined, it's the fact that there was extra stuff they wanted to put in, but they could not film it because they were both.
I don't think that would have fundamentally changed the movie. That movie has one of the best, a really solid opening scene.
That movie has a very solid everything, in my opinion.
With and very solid lens flare.
As someone, okay, yeah, you can go ahead and make the joke about the lens flare.
It's too much.
We get it. But as someone who is still in the middle of my journey, watching every episode of Star Trek ever, I think Star Trek in television is really good when it is cerebral and it's pacifist and it's diplomatic. And I think the best Star Trek movies are more action oriented. Yeah. And I think this film gets that. I think this film understands that when we go to see Star Trek in the theater, we want to see.
Yeah, I don't want to see them riding dirt bikes on an alien planet, as in the
right. I don't want to it makes for a boring experience in the theater, right? Whereas do that shit on TV all the time. That's fine. Anyway, so we're already seeing the effects of this writer's strike. Blade has already been delayed. There's a whole bunch of other things that were rushed into production. So we'll see what my quote was mediocre content we get out of the fact that this writer's strike is happening. And the fact that it seems like the studios are less willing to budge this time. So who knows how long it's going to last. Because of this stupidity of, we'll just have AI write our scripts coming out of them. So anyway, that is my topic. CJ, why don't we go back to your topic? Continue.
Yeah. So again, mine just kind of dovetailing onto this is what movies, right? What movies marketing really kind of hurt your enjoyment of it, and it all flashed back to me of when The Force Awakens was coming out. I started adopting the policy now of watch the first teaser or watch the first trailer. If you're sold, you stop watching, right? And if you're not sold, then you either go see the movie or you don't, right? And you kind of wait for some critics to give, again, critics that you trust, an opinion on it. And in recent memory, in movies that I think really impacted me for this, the biggest movie that I think the marketing hurt my enjoyment, hurt my expectations, and really kind of put me in the wrong state of mind to watch the movie was Knives Out. I that movie, to me, I got a bait and switch from what it was in the trailer, so I was coming in expecting something very different than what I got. And I understand that's Ryan Johnson's shticks, so I learned that lesson now checking that director, but that marketing really kind of screwed me up for that. But the one that helped was I was going to sit Baby Driver out, and then they released the first 3 minutes of that movie, set to bell bottoms. And I was like, I don't care. The rest of this movie can suck. I want to go see this movie now, because now I see something in this that the trailers and the marketing were not doing for me initially, but this marketing trick totally worked. So those two movies had my opinions changed, right? And impacted my enjoyment of the movie because of the marketing. So, I'm kind of curious from you gentlemen, especially with the world of trailers that we live in now. And I stick to that policy if I'm not watching trailers a whole lot anymore. What movies do you think kind of fall into that arena for you?
The last 3 Star Wars movies.
Of helped or hurt or both?
7, 8, and 9 did not. I mean, there's no way they didn't live. There's no way they lived up to the marketing, the hype. I think
7 did. I think 7's promise was a re-energization of the franchise, and that's exactly what we
I think The
got.
Force Awakens.
I don't remember the marketing behind 8 and 9.
Ryan Johnson. So I learned not to fall for the marketing because...
All right.
9 was just forgettable overall for me. So.
For me, it's all 3. Black Adam. What?
What was a movie that marketing actually turned you around? Initially, you were just like, I don't really know, and then you saw something in the marketing, you're like, oh, you know what though? I actually will give this a shot. Like, when was the time the marketing worked on you?
I think Fighting with My Family is an example of marketing.
That's probably Instant Family is another one. That's probably
Instant Family is another one. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the moment, The Flash. That trailer is unreal.
That Batman movie looks so good.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm not getting. I'm not here to get into that.
No, I'm with you on that one.
I'm not here to get into that discussion. I was out. I haven't.
Me too.
I haven't gone to the movies to see Marvel movies. Like, I have not gone to the theater. I don't plan on. I didn't see Doctor Strange or Quantumania. I don't really plan on seeing Guardians, even though Christian said it was amazing.
Go see it in 2 hours.
I'm just not. The marketing is too much, and I'm good. I'm not. DC ruined it. We all know that.
Yep.
And because of that, I was oot. And now, after that Flash trailer, holy shit! I'm not sure how I don't go see it.
I am in that camp too, Josh, because I don't want to. But that trailer is fucking fire.
I think DC knows how to cut a trailer. That's. Sure. I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't think that trailer looked amazing. I make the joke about Batman because it does heavily feature multiple Batman.
But at least you're saying the trailer was amazing.
The trailer is amazing.
The marketing is doing its job.
The marketing is doing its job, but
that was the whole question.
And that's the thing. And I think DC in general, going on another tangent, right? DC in general knows who to hire to cut their trailers. Because I don't think there's a single DC film that if you go back and watch the trailer, you weren't excited by the trailer that they cut.
Black Adam.
I did not.
I thought those trailers sucked.
I'll give you Black Adam. But before Black Adam,
I found a single movie.
Let's talk about Suicide Squad is a good example. Those trailers were amazing.
Yep.
That movie was mediocre. At best.
Suicide Squad or The Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
Yes. Okay.
The trailers were fantastic, right?
Yeah, they were. Yep.
I will say the only exception to this rule, I think the first trailer for Batman v Superman was great, and I think this is where CJ's rule comes in. That second trailer is what ruined it for me. Is what spoiled things for me. It's only because we're just here's the entire movie. Here's the twist. Here's Doomsday. Here's everything. And the moment you saw Doomsday, as anybody who knows anything about Superman, who was alive in 1994, you know Superman does not make it out of that film. And that's marketing done very wrong. There is a reason you hold shit for the theater.
I think you brought up an example earlier too of marketing that killed a movie, and we joked about it, which was Terminator Genesis, right, where they literally gave away the whole movie.
Twist. The
whole movie gets obliterated in the second trailer, right? John Connor's.
It was
Terminator,
enough for you to advertise this as Terminator 1 again, but now things are slightly different, and the reveal of the older Terminator. And that's enough for you to advertise, right?
Yep.
The twist, which granted it happens halfway through the film, but it's still a twist. And the fact that the entire movie is built on that is that, John Connor, not the thing that we wanted him to be.
Yeah, why is John Connor acting kind of weird?
Why is John Connor acting a little odd? This idea that the ideas sound, hey, we're going to turn off, excuse me, why DJ Panda goes off. Okay, good. The ideas sound where, hey, we're going to take everything you know about the franchise. We're going to pull this one pin and we're going to watch it all kind of topple. We're going to see where the pieces lie. What if John Connor's not the savior? What if he's the exact opposite?
Right.
And we're going to reboot the franchise this way. It's a sound idea, completely ruined by the trailer.
Yeah.
And I cited another example that I want to go into more detail on is the almost the exact opposite. Not the trailer ruining the film, but the trailer hyping up a film that then disappointed me is Iron Man 3. Hands down. If you remember, all the trailers leading up to Iron Man 3 was very Mandarin centric, Ben Kingsley centric.
Yep.
And not just, Ben Kingsley is the Mandarin. That's not the problem for me. I'm fine with the twist, but your marketing built up this big bad to be this larger than life big bad who was going to dismantle Tony Stark's life in this film. That was the promise of the marketing. We were going to see a villain that was going to break Tony down. And that is not what happens. It is way more a film about his PTSD from Avengers, which is fine. But the Mandarin is such a footnote in that film. And that's what's upsetting about it. You build your entire marketing machine around a footnote, and that's what ruined it for me.
Right.
If I look back now and forgetting about that film's fine. It's not the best MCU film. It's a good one. It's probably better than Iron Man 2. But the marketing is what ruined that film.
Solid. And with that, I'm going to wrap this show up.
Probably should. My son is getting restless.
I'm curious to see how those points shake out after that whole Breaking Bad thing.
Yeah. So here's what we've got. We've got Brian with his initial 5 points, and minus 2 points for the self-deception, and 2 points additional for a great topic. CJ with the pity point, and I gave you 2 additional points in there, and then you get the plus 2 points for your contribution to the Breaking Bad conversation. I thought it was not just in having the exact same opinion as I do in terms of saving the show, the strike saving the show, but also your overall contribution to that topic. And I think the hype topic was a really solid one. Good approach and not the normal CJ junk that you throw in here. It's good.
These still all sound like pity points, just so we're all very clear.
They're not at all. And CJ, that gives you 8 points and the win.
Oh.
8 points and the win. And listen, only one of those was a pity point.
That's
the rest
true.
I thought were well earned.
I showed up this episode. Okay.
Well earned.
No, they were well.
I question your adjectives.
There was a comma in there.
They were well earned. Yes.
Well, they were
very good.
Well earned. Right.
Let's eat grandma. See? It's different with a comma. All right. Listen, I want to thank everybody. Thank you, listeners, for hanging out with us for what, after editing, I'm sure will still be a very spirited show. And we appreciate you making us your walk around the neighborhood, your drive to work, or your leisurely podcast listening. We will see you on the next show.
Happy 300!
Well, welcome to the club, cause you are that kind of nerd.
We should revisit that movie, by the way. I'm kind of curious if it still holds up. I remember liking that movie very much.
let's put a spoiler cast on the books, man. I'm always down to rewatch a Terminator movie. You kidding me?
I think it was. I proposed to Jenny after this movie. After we saw this movie, we went to. It's a very long story. But after we watched Terminator Salvation, we were driving home from the movie theater, and I stopped at Grange's Mill and proposed to Jenny.
Jesus, you really know how to woo a girl.
It was after we had a fight, Josh. That's how
You're making it worse, CJ. You are
we were having a fight in the car on the way over about getting married, by the way. So my argument was, fine, I'll show you. Commit to your life to me, huh?
Good God.
Double down. Huh? Let's double down on this. I want to win this argument. Here's a ring.
That'll teach you.
Yeah, now what do you got to say, huh? You're stuck with me.
That's great.
I win.
Oh my God.
Was that planned or was that as a result of the fight on the way to the theater?
It wasn't planned.
It wasn't
planned.
Now you're stuck with me out of spite.
That's not
And it's all Terminator's fault.
CJ has chosen every hill he wants to die on more carefully since then.
Well, CJ,
oh my God!
I can see why this film has a special place in your heart.